Welcome to our subscriber analysis stream. I'm International Master William Pascal. We're hosting this Twitch and lichess based stream for the betterment of the understanding of people's chess. What little I understand, I will try to share with you. And so it goes. All right. And so it goes. We've got Mr. Coffee, Move 11, and Asturbate in the house. Can you guys hear me? Got volume, camera, action. B-Jock, sort of dodgy tactics. Mixing my drinks. Got your game. Oh boy. I have to search your game every week. Yes. Let me check if I got a game from... I want to see if I have a game from Miro. He said he might send in a game. Hey. Hey. Whoa. He didn't send me a game finally. Alright. Did anyone else get a game? Dodgy Tactics? Miro said he might send me a game. I think we have a pretty full schedule today. B-Jock's like, I am Sumahair. Welcome. Hey, what's up, Cheese Mate? Oh man, it's been a long day. I just got something from Move 11. Uh-oh. Game 9. We only do 10 games. I've got... Wow, Asturbate just gifted a tier 1 sub to the community and it went to Cheesemate. Is that a coincidence? Or did you intentionally send that to Cheesemate? It says, you know, you're gifting a tier 1 sub to the community. Is it just random that it went to Cheesemate? Because you can pretend you gave it to him on purpose. Hey, why did my sub expire? Good question. Maybe you should check your credit card. I always like get nervous when there's like random charges on my credit card, like Brazilian grill. It's a random when it says community. That's what I thought, but it was funny because it looks like Asturbate like gave it to Cheesemate directly because Cheesemate just happened to be on and didn't have a sub. Asturbate just gifted tier 1 sub to Dodgy Tactics. See, that's different. That time it didn't say to the community. It said gifted a tier 1 sub to Dodgy Tactics, so that was a direct gift sub. And I've had a long day, like lots of lessons today. I'm gonna add... Move 11's game won't go right. It won't go. Cheat detected. You're up to your old tricks on Move 11. Move 11 just gifted to the community, so this won't go. I'd like to submit a correspondence gameplay in lichess, which ended prematurely. My opponent opened up a study with a position in it, and he was flagged for cheating. You see, that's what I figured happened. You asked me that question, Move 11. I mean, I don't know what their exact priority or how exactly you get flagged for cheating. Like, if you open up a study with it, I guess that's automatically. If you turn the engine on, I would assume. But what happens if you have, like, the correspondence game in one window and you, like, start playing and analyzing a game in another window with, like, the engine on or something? It's not clear. I don't know how they, you know, how they do it exactly. If you have like two windows open, say one with the correspondence game, another one where you're just like analyzing positions, would that count as cheat detected? Personally, I don't like their rules about correspondence chess. I think we've got to... It's like legalizing drugs. It's too hard to... It's just impossible, man. I mean, it's impossible to police people cheating in correspondence games. So I think they should be allowed to use computers. That's like how the ICCF works or whatever. You can't possibly police it, you know. Lichess should change their policy on the correspondence games because it's really absurd. You know, there's literally no way you can police if people are cheating. You know, they take the position off stream, analyze it on a different place, and... But that's not true, Dodgy Tactics, right? I mean, all these professional correspondence players have come to live with the... I mean, you know, it's not what I think. I mean, I know that all the correspondence games in the world are played with computers, the top correspondence games. I mean, I know what you're saying, Dodgy Tactics. I agree in part, but it's like, what's the point in making drugs illegal if you can't actually, like, police it, you know? Yeah, the engine versus engine correspondence games are 90% draws. Yeah, it's all about how to use your engine properly. It's also weird when you're playing a theoretical opening in correspondence. Are you supposed to not study the opening with the engine while you're playing the game? Exactly. You know, Mr. Coffee, I asked him about that earlier. What happens if you have a correspondence game in a variation that, you know, is the same exact position your opponent's going to play next Sunday in an over-the-board game, and you're supposed to, like, prepare for that game? Mr. Coffee was like, oh, well, then you're not supposed to study that or something. Well, yeah, right, but still, it's messed up. Anyway, okay, so this is Move 11's game. I can't put it in my study, I guess. Let's see if I open it. Oh, there we go. All right. Move 11. I've had a very long day, so hopefully I can feel better. Feel better with some analysis here will make me feel better. I feel better with the gift subs. Thank you, Acerbate. Guys, little announcement. Thanks for the gift subs again from Acerbate and Move 11. Gifted subs to Cheesemate, Dodgy Tactics, and Move 11 gifted a gift sub to Percy Hepworth. My announcement is that there will be no stream tomorrow morning. I have a duty I have to do and help a friend, so we're not going to be streaming tomorrow morning. Blitz at 11 a.m. Some things are more important than chess. So no stream tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Next stream will be Sunday, simul stream. Simul stream Sunday at 6:30 CEST or CET. Sorry. Yeah, it's been a long day. It's been raining all day and my window is closed. There's not enough oxygen in this office. I tried to open it up right before the stream, but it's still not enough oxygen. I can't open the window. I opened it for like 10 seconds before the stream started. I need an oxygen. Has anyone here been to an oxygen bar? I've never gone, but they used to have them. There's one. I think I know where there's still an oxygen bar. I need an oxygen bar. Alright, NN versus Surge is first game. On my honeymoon in Vegas. The marriages that last, usually made in Vegas. Denver. We bear bears. It was a naked oxygen bar? An oxygen bar for nudists. Nice. So Surge isn't the first game. Alright, we've got to clarify something. Ubatis, what is Bobby Fischer versus Najdorf? Can you clarify what that game is? Where did that come from? Who was that a submission by? There is a game in here, the first game, Bobby Fischer versus Miguel Najdorf. Oh, that's Mr. Slow. Awesome. Okay. It's a good thing he was here to tell me who it was. Alright, Mr. Fischer versus Najdorf. You know what's funny? Today I had a student who played e6, and the engine said it was dubious. Okay, I need to clarify. The engine said e6 is an inaccuracy. The problem with the system they have on the lichess now is that, like, inaccuracies are getting like a question mark exclamation, but inaccuracy is like losing like 0.1 centipon or something. You know what I mean? Inaccuracy is literally like not the very best move, almost. It's not a dubious move to play e6. But Fischer never played e6, right? He always played d6. I mean, this is the only... This is Fischer with white, but I'm just on the subject of Bobby Fischer. Opening that bishop. Let's see what the engine says. Is d6 definitely better than e6? No, I don't know why my student Stockfish analyzed e6 as inaccurate. It's random. This Stockfish kind of likes e6. That's really weird. Right. No, why does my Stockfish like e6? No, it's saying g6 is the best move. I can guarantee that's not true. Okay, my CPU is just weak, man. It's just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But nothing from my Stockfish can be accurate. I mean, this computer is nothing but a glorified tablet. What does your computer say, Move 11? I know you have a serious machine somewhere there. What's the best Sicilian? Okay, d6. This is Fischer versus Fischer. I mean, I just, you know, there's no way that my computer is... Okay, you would think there was... too low depth. e6 inaccuracy. I don't know about that. d6, d4, takes, knight f6. So Mr. Slow submitted this game for the stream. Fischer Najdorf. This is Najdorf against the Najdorf. Najdorf playing the Najdorf. I think a6 was up there, but on move 5. I trust me, g6 sucks. I played like a million games with it. I'm always like hanging on for dear life when I played g6 on move 2. My last near defeat was e4, c5, knight f3, g6. I'm just saying. I bet if we did a Sparkle Horse analysis, let's just for fun. What's the move I played the most here? What is it doing? Here. Someone on sound. Sparkle Horse as black. Compute. Wow. I'm really surprised. I've played knight c6 way more. But even more surprising for me is this statistic. I've played d6 500 times. I am honestly totally shocked. I've played knight c6 the most with 1,000 games, d6 500, g6 only 300, a6 68, queen c7 57, e6 55. And there's some others as well. Knight f6 11 times, b6 9, queen a5 4, d5 3, and g5 once. I'm surprised I never played knight h6. Alright, but anyway, let's get that out of there. We're just messing around. Okay, Master database. Fischer versus Geller. Sorry, Fischer versus Najdorf. H3. H3 is a good line. We looked at that a little bit with move 11 a while back. B5 is best. Is it best right away, or should we wait a move? No, E5 is best, followed by B5. The conclusion is that E5 was best, with E5 or B5 to come later. H5 number one move, B5 is okay. But Najdorf plays B5 directly. I mean, man, there was no theory back in these days on this line. Like, when was this played? In the 60s? I mean, nobody played H3 against Najdorf back then. It was unheard of. So Fischer goes knight d5, trying to take advantage. I mean, it's not the most principled move in the world. We're not developing anything. If you scroll down, the date might be there. Really? You think so? Well, Fischer's game is not going to be in the Opening Explorer. If I scroll down, oh yeah, 1962. So, I mean, G3 is safe. G4 is more like the main idea. Because if you play G3, then B4. Like G3, B4, knight D5, knight C4, maybe. I don't believe black can do that, but theoretically it could be possible. But okay, G4 is the main idea. Hikaru Nakamura and Moksudlu. So if G4, what happens? H6? Nobody plays H6. Interesting. Everyone plays bishop b7, white plays bishop g2, and then there's all different possibilities, including h6. But Fischer instead plays knight d5 unprovoked. But basically, like, we're hoping that black will take here, I guess, and establish this pawn on d5, which will cramp black. How are we protecting that pawn, though, in that line? How do we protect this pawn here? It's indirectly protected. This game just presents more questions than it does, you know, answers. So what would happen if Najdorf simply takes? Take, bishop b7. Simply attacking the pawn on d5. I mean, white could play like c4, right? This happened in Miralles' game. The other Miralles. Queen f3. But how long can we keep that pawn on d5 protected? Is the question. I'll ask the oracle. Yeah, c4 is best. C4 is best. Miralles' move is best. Miralles won because he's a grandmaster. Apparently, not because of the position. You would think it's harder to sacrifice the d5 pawn effectively. The other problem for black is that, you know, playing d5 is important in the Najdorf. And it's hard for black to play d5 when white's pawn is on d5. I'm just kidding. It's a little humor, you know. It's hard to achieve d5 when the opponent has like an advanced pawn on d5 occupying that square. The joke is that the freeing move in the Sicilian is usually d5. But that's different. That's like when white's pawn is on e4. Alright, so Fischer plays knight d5. Black just developed. Knight d5, bishop b7. I mean, this is dramatic because it allows knight takes f6 check. The other move we have to consider here seriously is e6. I think that's the most natural move. As a dragon player, playing the black side of the accelerated dragon and generally in the normal dragon, we want to get that knight off of d5 before something terrible happens. So it looks like knight takes f6 check. This is like a Richter Rouser. Queen takes f6 leaves the queen misplaced. You know, so this might be something for white. Like, white might be a little better. But I think that's the most sensible approach. Kick the knight off of d5 directly. I don't know. Was this in my 60 memorable games? I don't know. I don't recall, you know. I've probably studied all the games in my 60 memorable, but it was so long ago that I don't remember. Mr. Slowwood, no. He doesn't forget. He's like an elephant. Bishop e7, knight takes f6 check. So this is risky. I already don't like it. It looks like a bad rouser for black. Okay, white's not real developed. Yeah, he said it's in there. Anytime white gets like queen h5 in the rouser, it's kind of bad news. I mean, this h3 move is utterly... It turns out to be an utter waste of time for white. But otherwise, I don't like black's structure. And I'm not sure. So c4 has been played in a bunch of games. Sacrificing this pawn is a major idea. I mean, what are white's options? Queen g4, queen e2, queen h5. You could play something simple like bishop d3, just guarding the pawn. So Bobby plays this. Radically aggressive move, threatening the b5. And then, I mean, there's people who are playing e5 here, which looks gross for black. But I don't know what black's supposed to do, honestly. I mean, you can't just lose a pawn. So take. Why is this so bad? Let's ask Yab's question. Is it that bad? Take, take. Let's ask the really obvious question. What happens if bishop takes e4? It's over. Presumably, like, white has a winning attack here, but I don't know. Takes doesn't work. It does. Take, take, check. This doesn't work. King g8. This position is confusing, but he's defending. So I don't think that wins. Queen b3. Nothing special. It looks like a really, really dangerous position for black, but I don't see a forced win. I mean, you could do queen a4 check. And if queen d7, you have like bishop e5. That looks pretty bad. Except for the fact that this is protected. Oh man. Never mind. Have another hit on the Bongville. I don't know, man. I mean, why is this... Percy Hepworth, welcome. You studied all of the Duke of Brunswick's games, and my style is very similar. The Archduke Ferdinand's games. Is this the Skittles game? This is Bobby Fischer versus Miguel Najdorf. What's the deal? So castles. See, that's the problem. I'm sitting here looking for some kind of freaking brilliancy, and there is nothing, you know? This is a good question. I mean, what would Fischer have done if this had happened, you know? Would he have launched into something crazy? Not like him, really. Bishop f7, king f7, queen h5 check. So that's the line I was looking at. King g8, this is the line I was looking at. Bishop g6, I didn't keep going. But it actually works. I don't believe it. How does this work? You've got something here. Holy mother. The mother of Mothra. Mother of Mothra. Bishop h6 check. Bishop h6, king h6, queen e3 check, king g7, knight e6 winning the queen. Whole foods. Wow, what an awesome variation. So it's a draw by repetition. Bishop f7, queen g4, bishop g6, queen e6. This is literally a forced draw. You know, would Fischer have played what Fischer would have done here, you know, unclear. Would he have played castles, you know, which is the best move, probably. He didn't want to draw, obviously. But I don't know if he would have, even Fischer would have seen bishop h6 check in that ending, or that combination. You know, a lot of people would have missed it. Anyway, this is the game. So bishop takes e4, castles. Oh, this was the game. No way. Mr. Slow is sitting there all quiet. This was the actual game. No wonder it's so familiar to me. You know, somewhere I've studied this game 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. I played over all the games in my 16 memorable, but this wasn't one that was more memorable for me. I don't know if that line was in the book. It's in a storage unit thousands of miles away. So now Najdorf played d5. The bishop's sort of trapped. Rook e1. So castles is correct, but probably like d5 is some sort of mistake. But black's position is super hard to play. You don't want to be in this situation. Is it too late? Serge, you had a game. You have a game. We still didn't do last week, so your game from last week is still in there. Last week's stream was canceled due to Thanksgiving. You can't get two games in one stream. d5, rook e1, e5, queen a4 check, knight d7. Now, I vaguely remember something like this. This looks like what happened to me against Hey It's Miro yesterday in the Schliemann. Rook takes e4, d takes e4, knight f5. Yeah, we're still only on the first game. I mean, the problem is white is threatening queen b3 here, and there's no, you know, like no defense practically. Actually, that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is something like bishop e3, rook d1. If the rook enters the game, black's lost. Speaking of, Fischer doesn't like bad pieces. So this bishop can be like a blocker on d4. Why not king f8? Well, it's a good question, right? Obviously, there's bishop h6, king g8. Now white's queen needs to get over here. There's pretty variations like this, you know, the mate there. But how do you checkmate black? Queen... You got bishop f7 here. This is probably kind of nice. Check. No, he's coming out there. Coming out party. There's some funky mates around here, like king g6, queen e4 check. It looks like black's getting away, but then you have queen g4. Nice knowing you. Have a nice life, dude. Just when you thought it was safe to get out of the water, you know, you're getting mated by knight f5 no matter what, you know. Bishop takes f2 check, king h1. Nice. Nice knowing you. That's pretty cool. So bishop f7 check, pretty devastating. If you go to f8. So he has to go to e7. He's getting mated anyway. It looks like he's getting mated anyway. Check. I mean, this feels like it almost works. But I'm not sure. Like, this isn't as good as the other line. Something like here. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere white is winning with some kind of very direct thing, but Fischer just developed. I mean, he's probably winning like 6 ways from Sunday here. Pretty much no matter what he did. It's probably like plus 10. Okay, it's plus 5.5. It's plus 5.5 only. Bishop e3, bishop e3, fe3. Black is paralyzed. Here. Not Najdorf's best game. This was 1962. Fischer was still relatively young. And resigns. Alright guys, I'm not going to take up the whole stream with this non-subscriber game, but it was from Mr. Slow, and very classic game from my 60 memorable. So memorable, in fact, that I forgot it. But honestly, like, Najdorf played pretty badly. Fischer, however, it was interesting. You know, after bishop takes e4, I wonder, Castles, what's black's best move here? d5 was literally the best move. He actually doesn't have a better move there. Oh, he missed bishop takes g2. Okay, well, yeah, this is crazy. I wonder if this is even in the book. Probably not. Wow. Can you say you would have seen that move? Bishop takes g2. I mean, likely Fischer must have analyzed this at the time when he played rook e1. He must have considered the possibility of bishop takes g2. I wonder if that's analyzed in there. If Mr. Slow is still with us. Do you recall if this move is actually given? Dial a king safe. Dial your king safety. Dial your king safety up with king takes g2. We'll look it up. This move apparently saves black. I mean, how bad is it to, like, take here? Anything, like, to trade pieces if I'm black in this position. It's plus 2.6. I guess that's not too bad compared to what happened, where it was like plus 5.5. So apparently, rook e1 is a blunder because of bishop takes g2, and Fischer should have played bishop b3. But it's an extremely crazy and imbalanced position. At the end of the day, black's development is not there, and his king is not safe. Yeah, we'll check it out. Bishop takes g2. Rook e1, e5. No. Bishop takes g2, king g2. Rook g8 check. You know, white. I would probably put my king on h2, honestly, but that's apparently a mistake. I wouldn't know where to put my king here. You know, no matter where you go, it looks like your king is vulnerable to being attacked. It's given in the book. Wow. White can also play queen a4 check, apparently. Notice that the bishop is not defending the rook on h8 in this position. So in the event of queen d7, we actually have bishop e5 winning. It's kind of a nice line. Pawn takes, queen takes, queen takes, queen takes b8 check, king d7. I mean, theoretically, white could even bring the queen back to h2. But man, bishop to h2 is a beautiful move. Bishop gives king g2. Check, king f1, or king h1. Man, the engine calls it a dead draw. It's incredible. King h1, black just takes. Wherever it just takes. And Fischer probably looked at this. Rook a7. I mean, this is a very dynamic position. You can't call this a draw. But the chess engine is saying that the position is very, very level. It's unbelievable. I mean, black's like 2 pawns up. It's total chaos. It looks like a poison pawn. Najdorf. And it's like 0.0. Rook d7. What a beautiful defensive plan. So all the black's pieces, like, somehow miraculously, the pieces just miraculously get in the game here. It's insane. Rook a d1, e6. What a position. 0.0. It's unbelievable. Look at this. Knight c6, knight c6, queen c6. Chess is a forced draw, according to Jan Nepomniachtchi. I mean, dude, you sack 2 pawns, you're like sacking your pieces left and right, and everything's a forced draw. Pressure for white with 2 pawns down. He's right. You know, it takes this engine calculating 21 moves deep to say it's 0.0. You know, it's easier for black to go wrong. Wow, very interesting game, Mr. Slow. All right, we're gonna move on to Serge. Thanks, Mr. Slow, for reminding us of that classic game from 60 Memorable, which really had escaped my memory. I think somewhere in my subconscious, it's still in there, because I did literally go over all those games, but again, it's been like 25 years ago. We've got NN versus Serge. So Serge playing black, knight f3, e6. Here it comes, the London system. I'm like waiting for bishop f4 every time. I'm afraid to play e6 these days. I'll play like b6 or g6 because I know the London system's coming. If you play e6, they know that pretty well. Is there place for more? Chess Kudo. Chess Kudo, is there place for more? There is. There is one last place. You literally have the last game. If you submit it now. Knight f3, e6, e3. Okay. Bishop e7. That's a funny move against bishop f4 too. Sometimes I do that against the London system. They're like, ooh, bishop e7, and they start malfunctioning. It's like the London system robots. Of course, you can do Magnus Carlsen too. Magnus played bishop d6. Chess Kudo, if you send me or you bought us the game, we'll put it in the study. It's a secret move. A secret, super accurate move order. Also possible against these E3 robots. Just send me a private message on lichess. Okay. Well, there's nothing really wrong with bishop e7. It's a sort of like slightly passive square for the bishop, as opposed to d6. I mean, you know, there might be an issue here. Like if you play b6, white could play e4, a tempo down. Maybe it's a good or playable Owen, I don't know. But c5, definitely an option. d5. Alright, now that's fine, but you're going to have to be accurate the way you play this. So with the bishop on e7, I think you got to go like b6. Maybe b6, bishop b7, rather than c5 here. I think you're better off playing b6, bishop b7, rather than an early c5. Wait. Chesskudo sent me the game. Okay, open link, new window. Open link, new window. Study. Okay, that's game 10. It's been a long day, so I'm definitely not going to do beyond 10 games today. Alright. If you're late, you're late. No game. Last game. Did I just close the game? Oh my god. No, we're there. Alright, cool. We're there. We're still there. So, yeah, I think here, Serge, I mean, this is just like those London system players. Like, robotic c3. What a horrifying move. So, white should play any kind of normal move here. Castle, c4, b3. Maybe even queen e2. Any of these normal moves. One of the above. c4, b3 castles, or even queen e2. Maybe even knight on bd2 is not that bad. But I mean, this? Dude, that's disgusting. Alright, we're going to get the Kali system. Or Kola. But seriously, Kola. If he had played, like, castles, you know, maybe we should consider b6 and not playing c5 for black till later. Castles is okay, but I would always do, like, b6, bishop b7. Probably better to do, like, b6. Beforehand, I also played the bishop d6 together with f5. Well, I mean, the bishop is more typically placed on d6. You know, it's more actively placed there. There are. This is a horrible move, though. c3. Absolutely no reason to play that so early. Usually played in response to c5. So now you did c5. But I think here, you know, your bishop is on the wrong square. Objectively. Okay, maybe it's okay. It's a little passive for black. Here. Yeah, I mean, white normally doesn't do d takes c5, and that the whole point is that your bishop is slightly misplaced. Oh, you mean against the London system? Well, a lot of the same things apply here, actually, Chesskudo. You know, the similar ideas apply because these openings are closely related. The Kali, the London, the Tory attack. They're all in the same family. The Stonewall attack. So I guess after c5, I mean, clearly d takes c5 is a mistake for white. He has to play knight on bd2, you know, and play for e4 at this point. That's the only plan. It's a semi-Slav reversed. The only plan for white. Anything else is just lame. This is stupid, you know. Because now the bishop might as well have been on d6. Knight on bd2. Castles is solid. So we've got like a Marin reversed. Now we've transposed to the reversed Marin. White should probably play b4, I guess. It's not that bad. You don't have to, though. Now you can play for e4 as well. Alright. He plays e4, and now we're in some kind of Colley system mainline territory. Yeah, there's probably some old Rubinstein games from this position. If you go back in history, you would find lots of games around the turn of the century, the turn of the last century, early 1900s, in this position probably. Rubinstein could have played either side, but more likely black. Now you played e5, which is kind of aggressive. I suppose bishop b6 looks like a solid move. As you can see, queen c7. It's reverse semi-Slav. You played e5. So the danger here is that the white squares become a problem. I saw a very similar game today. Was playing over some games with one of my students. Magnus Carlsen game, I thought. But, you know, black has to be careful that this e4 square doesn't fall into white's hands. You see this? The next move? E takes d5, and white gains control of the e4 square. So e5 is a very risky move for black. This is safer. Queen c7, queen e2, h6, or b6. Apparently h6. And if e5, you have knight g4 attacking this. Interesting. A quick f5 for black. You know, f5 can be very double-edged if we get that kind of thing. Seriously. If black plays like f5, he can weaken himself on... It happens in the Colley system sometimes. Like, what you're talking about is basically this type of thing. Like, boom, 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 boom. And playing for f5. I mean, I've seen things like this after queen c7 as well. But it goes... It gets very double-edged. e4, e5, here. Yeah, I mean, this is like a dumb end of the diagonal kind of thing. Queen e2 is clearly, like, a slightly better square for the queen. I mean, this is possibly like semi-Slav theory that it's just reversed. If black has a good score here, it's because, like, the players playing black were higher rated. I mean, it's not because this position is bad for white, I think. It's like the Smith-Morra. Like, I don't like the Smith-Morra, but it's not that bad that it should have, like, a negative score. But it has a negative score because, like, nobody good plays a Smith-Morra. Only weak players. And so, like, you know, you'll see here, black is, like, a positive score in 21 games, even though the engine says, like, bishop g4 is not even one of the best moves. Bishop g4, ed5, access to this square. I mean, who's the best player here? Dude, look at the players playing black. Del Rio, Kuprejcik, Victor Frias. Playing white, never heard of him. Doug Root, never heard of him, never heard of him, never heard of him, never heard of him. You know, that's the problem. You've got good players playing black, and coffee house players play the Colley system, even though it's not bad. So queen c2, here, oof. Yeah, you're just in trouble on this diagonal. It looks weak. Takes, queen takes, e4 square. So check this game out from 2001. Laszlo Bartsai must have been like 75 years old. I remember Bartsai in like 1997, and he was really ancient in 1997. And this is against Narciso in the first Saturday in 2001. I wasn't here in 2001, ironically, but again, you know, this case white wins because it's like the stronger player, but it's also a good position. Man, interesting. Bishop takes f3, g takes f3. You know, 75-year-old grandmaster playing black here against a young GM or young IM. So let's see. Castles e4, e5, queen c2, bishop g4, b4. Okay, b4 is possible. I'm not sure it makes sense to mix queen c2 with b4, you know. This is dangerous here. Because if black turns this over on the c file, b5. Now we're losing our e5 pawn though. Master, that doesn't seem right. It looks like Surish has a problem. If you move the knight, you just drop e5. So he takes. Oh no, so it's like Narciso wouldn't play bishop takes e4. Right? The problem was you weren't playing the Spanish GM. You're playing a master of randomness. So the game against Narciso, White's like, I don't care if you take on f3 and double my pawns. That's the point. Like bishop takes f3, pawn takes f3, and the white squares are totally secure. In fact, like Joseph Blackburn would play like king h1 and like checkmate you on the g file here, probably. White's king is literally pretty safe. This looks like the mistake. He gives you that juicy white square bishop. Like overly concerned about his pawn structure. The white square bishop is so key here. So let's see after knight takes. Bishop takes f3. G takes f3. Yeah, it just doesn't matter that white has double isolated f-pawns. You can't really checkmate him on the white squares. And that's why Laszlo Bartsai lost too. Against Narciso. Basically the same theme. Takes, but this changes everything. Gone. You know, that important piece, that white's best piece, the bishop on e4, is gone. Still, maybe there's a chance. Because e5 is falling, and g4 is attacked. So, and your knight is hanging, you know? And now 5 drops a piece. So Surish has to play this, give up his white square bishop back. It actually looks like white is better. Takes, here. So that's funny, it's still okay for white. After queen e4. This just doesn't work because of queen c4 check. There's no way that black can sack a piece. So at the end of the day, maybe bishop takes e4 wasn't bad. Maybe it was okay all along. So it looks like we're just losing our central pawn. However, I mean, white's pawns like on the queen side look like kind of overextended. Here. Here. Whoops. Are you sure you want to take with the queen? Discards b7. There's some compensation. I mean, this pawn is weak. Compensation for the pawn we haven't lost yet, but we're gonna lose e5, right? This is weak, this is weak. and we can get our knight back in the game with knight c4. If knight takes e5, obviously Serge's opponent was concerned about this pin, probably. I think that black has some compensation. The bishop's very good. You know, so white's probably a little better. Actually, yeah, a very little better. Queen e5. Yeah, now all our pieces are rocking here. I'd rather be black, honestly. Queen e5 just... Black's pieces are very active. This. The knight's going to rejoin the battle. Your other rook comes there. b7's protected. Yeah, I'd rather not play f6, though. No, honestly, like, instead of rook c8, probably you should play rook e8. Here, f6 weakens your king side. Check. King h8. Here, rook e8. You just grab the pawn. So it's relatively equal. I mean, if anything, black might be better because this pawn on b5, the pawn on a2. But you need to get your knight back in the game. I guess a draw is a fair result here. Interesting game. Alright, so we've got Asterbate versus Misaka Mikoto, who might be Japanese. Asterbate with white. Thanks everyone for joining us. Chess Kudo with the last game, 10 games. We've got 10 games in the study in a moment. 10 games in the study, 8 to go. It's a long night. 10 games in 2 hours. Please support the stream by donating if you can. Be the first to donate some bits this wonderful Thursday evening. No stream tomorrow. I have important business in tomorrow morning, so we're going to cancel Friday's stream. I hate to cancel streams, but I had to do it. And no problems. But we're going to be off tomorrow morning and then stream on Sunday. Our normal simul stream on Sunday evening. So don't stay up until 5 in the morning, Asterbate, to watch our stream in the morning. We've got Asterbate versus Misaka. Asterbate actually facing his old defense, the Owen. Now knight c3. No, I made this point. It's funny. Someone played the St. George against Asterbate, and he played knight c3. But I think the St. George kind of hurts that knight on c3 with that prong. The pawn prong can attack the knight on c3. Knight c3 is better against the Owen, though. You're not attacked by this pawn prong. Where's Mr. Coffee? Knight c3, bishop e7. And now f4. Everything is a Grand Prix attack. You can play the Grand Prix attack against everything. Very well. No, objectively, d4 is the best move. f4. Now he can transfer to a Sicilian with like c5. Badaz Laszlo. No. Chom variation. Random Hungarian Grandmasters. Alright. e6, best move. Knight f3. And now bb4. Nice. So bishop b4 is aggressive. And it's a standard sort of Owen defense, Nimzo theme, you know. Attacking the e4 pawn indirectly. So what should Asterbate do? Ignore it and drop his central pawn. Asterbate, really? Against your own former opening? You literally dropped your central pawn here. Holy moly, this is the novelty of the year. So what is the best move for white in this position? This is interesting. I think queen e2 is playable. Like a queen e2. Queen e2 with the idea of knight d1. D3 is fine. D3 is normal. And that's about it. I mean, you really have to defend this pawn. I know that's very inconvenient, Acerbate, but you probably shouldn't play e4 if you don't want to defend your e4 pawn. I mean, it's one thing in like an open Sicilian to sacrifice your e pawn, but you're playing the Grand Prix attack here. A closed Sicilian. And you just like leave your e4 pawn hanging. You know, this is not okay. If you absolutely have to be a freak, you can play like bishop d3. Look at this. This was played by two good players, actually. This Israeli guy and Chigayev have both played bishop d3. Lars Oscar, also former streamer on lichess. Lars Oscar plays like everything. He's the guy from Silver Spoons, Ricky Schroeder. He's literally the Norwegian Ricky Schroeder. No, he's Dutch. The Dutch Ricky Schroeder. All right, d4, hanging your central pawn. Nice. Nothing to see here, folks. Schlop. There it goes. Was that important? That was somewhat important. Your central pawn. And now, since we just dropped our central pawn, let's not develop any new pieces and play knight e5. Very principled approach, I have to say. Yeah, I mean, the open e-file might matter if we actually had some pieces developed. I mean, honestly, man, Acerbate, this is horrible. You drop your central pawn, and then you're gonna like intimidate him with knight e5, threatening queen h5. This is terrible. All right. Yeah, I mean, what is the best move here for white, objectively? I don't know. You know, a3 maybe, like make him give you his bishop or something. And you're just like down a pawn for nothing. I don't know what to suggest. Bishop d3, developing a piece. It was a terrible blunder. Now he voluntarily retreats his bishop back. And now this is like past the bong move. I mean, I play moves like that if I'm like smoking dope or something. Why don't you start out like this, like knight f3, b6, rook g1. Like, why even wait until move 8 or something to play rook g1? Just play it like on move 2. You can accelerate it here. Then on bishop e7, you can just like sacrifice your e pawn with e4. And after bishop takes e4, just use that for, you know, use that for future development. I think this looks like a very similar idea, but a little more like efficient. I think you should play it like this. By the way, like this this has never been played, but it's played in some positions. I've seen it in real games. All right. Anyway, I'm being sarcastic. Bishop takes here, bishop e7, rook g1, queen h4 check. Oh my god. Phew. There goes the h pawn. g3, queen takes h2, and you don't have rook g2 like you would normally have in the. You would normally have that in a Vienna or whatever. So now you're lucky you have bishop e3, your favorite move. The only move that protects the rook at g1. Now notice his queen is rather short of squares. h6. It has literally one square it can go to. That is so sick. Wow. He literally has one square his queen can go to. Delver Flips, thanks for subscribing. 6 months. Greetings, colleagues and associates. So Acerbate shows the depth of his tactical understanding. Man, black... Can black even save his queen here? Well, I mean, you could go to h6 directly, right? And then try to crawl back with g6 and fianchetto. This is literally probably black's best move. And if knight g4 now, you have queen g6. With the key idea that you can play f5 or anything like that. Black has a very narrow path to escape. But after this, there is no escape. Oh, there is an escape. Or there isn't. Oh my god, so it's deeper than I thought. Dude, I thought you were winning, but it's not clear. After this, what do you do now? You don't have knight f6 check because his knight is just going to take it and defend his queen. I thought you were winning. He's actually escaping here. Bishop e2. And now black's winning after like queen a5. Presumably. Queen a5, get me out of here. Instead he played queen g6. And then a nice idea, bishop f3. Now there's this issue. Here, here, d5. Not my favorite move for black. I mean, what about c6? Maybe that like weakens black a little less than d5. I suspect. Now you would castle. And it's like the Twilight Zone. But black's probably okay. I mean, black's okay. You know, he's fine. He's up a pawn. He's up 2 pawns, to be exact. I like his pawn structure. It's like a 90s sedan, as opposed to the normal car structure. This gives up the e5 square. That looks a little dangerous. Take, take. I mean, honestly, black played principally. He was a little materialistic, but basically principled chess. Now the wrong move. I mean, you want to guard against knight e5. Most likely, I would think knight d7 to guard this. He lets you just go in there. And then, I mean, of course he should play queen e4, I guess. You would have to avoid the exchange of queens with queen f2 or queen e2. If you trade queens, you're dead. So he plays queen f5 instead, just encouraging g4, queen e4, queen h3. That's a nice move. More active than f2. You also had e2 though, which was interesting. Do you think that, what are the chances black's queen is going to get trapped here? By the way, if you bet on, here's your chance, guys. If you go to a betting site and bet on Magnus Carlsen and Nepomniachtchi to draw their next 9 games in a row, you can get 5-to-1 odds. I think that's... I'm going to put $100 down on 9 more draws. I mean, seriously. Are those odds... Are those odds really... Are you serious? Do you guys think that's fair? Are those odds fair? Are the odds really only 5-to-1? That the next 9 games will be draws? Shouldn't you get better odds than that, honestly? I mean, I know that they're likely draws, but every game a draw, and I'm only getting 9 more games, and I'm only getting 5-to-1 odds on that. Seems like you should get even more odds. But I guess at the rate they're going. Anyway, the queen is getting trapped. I tell you guys now. No, he just hangs a piece instead. Man, it's not my lucky day. Hangs a piece. Check. Knight f8. Bishop was hanging. King back. King d7. What happened here? Knight e5 check. King e7. Queen g7. So I was sure his queen was going to get trapped, and I was wrong all along. Very surprising. Mate. So I was on the wrong track all the time. You should look at the betting lines. Oh, you should look at the betting lines. Originally, I don't remember what it was. To bet all 14 games were draws. I was like, nah, that's crazy, you know. Now after seeing the first 5, I'm starting to think, maybe it's the last chance. Maybe it's not crazy to bet on 14 draws. Not a lot of money, but something. $100, let's say. I get $500 if they draw all the rest of the games. You'd be so pissed if, like, game 14 someone lost. At that point, I think they would just draw, though. If they get to game 14, you're going to see them, like, really, really shut down. Nobody wants to, like, lose game 14. That would be embarrassing. All right, thanks. Morales is up next. Thanks, Asterbay, for the game. Morales better not have submitted his game against me. All right, good. I saw the St. George, and I thought it might be me. Whew, guys, welcome Juicebox Wizard. All right, we had an Owen defense. Now we have a St. George from Jeroen. Jeroen, the Dutch players in the house. Analyzing games. No streaming tomorrow, guys. Reminder. Taking Friday off this week. So this is Morales from, well, I guess our tournament. No, it was 420 plus 3. What's that? Yeah. You know, next World Chance Championship, I bet for all draws. Honestly, you know, Magnus is taking more risks than Nepomniachtchi. Nepomniachtchi is like playing like a grandmom. But I really have no room to make fun. I have a very high draw percentage in my games. I'm the wrong person to criticize. Alright. E4, A6, D4, B5, Bishop D3, Bishop B7. I'm not one of those people who's like harassing them about being, you know, when Leiko was Drawco. I had this account. I had a poker account called Drawco at one point. I was just messing around. I think one of my poker names was Drawco. Bishop E7, Knight F3, E6, castles, C5, C3. Okay, so it's like mainline, sort of mainline St. George. This was Karpov Miles, probably. I don't remember the exact move order. I think it was Knight F6. Karpov Miles must have been like Knight F6 takes. That's not right. No, because you got to defend the pawn. Yeah, it couldn't have been Knight F6 takes. Karpov must have like taken on C5 or something. Anyway, that was the way the famous game where Karpov lost with white was in a St. George. Though I think it's a mistake. I mean, D takes C5 lets black play the Sicilian. I've played, yeah, there's Schussler against Miles, ironically, from 1980. Ironically, I've played the St. George a lot with black. C3. What is this? Oh my god. What? Okay, what? C3. C takes D4. You know, a funny thing just occurred to me that never occurred to me before. Looking at this from the white side, like white could turn it into like a bad Smith-Morra. The Smith-Morra is just like playing the white side of the Owen and like dropping, or the St. George and dropping a pawn, basically. To just give you an idea of how stupid the Smith-Morra is. The Smith-Morra is like going Queen E2 here and just like losing your pawn. Like Queen E2, pawn takes C3. I'll just lose a pawn for nothing. Pawn takes C3. Alright. C takes D4. C takes D4. Now Knight F6. Obviously Knight C6 threatening Knight B4. I had this old pamphlet by like Basman or someone. Well, his point was and Miles's point was that in the St. George, like, you could induce white to play like a3, and the idea was that when you induce white to play a3 to stop knight b4, like, black's position would somehow be validated because you could play knight a5. This is the basic idea, you know, to have these weak squares. Should be if they play or decline ceremonial first move. Will they fly the Russian flag? But I don't know if it's better to play knight f6 first. Normally when I'm black, I play knight f6 here, hoping for e5. Most people play like rook e1. And then on knight c6, things get interesting. I've had a lot of games like this. d5's crazy. If knight on bd2, you take, and then you can play knight b4 at some point here. So let's see what happened. C takes d4, C takes d4, knight f6. That's interesting. Because knight c3, you can actually meet with b4, the prong. Asterbate would gladly sacrifice his central e4 pawn. The ROC flag, yeah. It would be embarrassing if, like, your native country invaded a sovereign nation, like, while you're competing for that country. You know what I mean? That would be kind of embarrassing, no? C3, C takes d4, C takes d4, knight f6, e5, knight d5, and now no big deal. I've probably played this position before. Knight c3. I don't love this. You know, so the better approach, I would think, for white would be to just play like a3. I'm looking at this from white's perspective because it's Morales' suggestion, but I'm used to playing from black. Knight d5, knight c3. I would think, like, you could think about just taking this. It's not so bad for black. I guess white still has a strong king side. But black needs to get developed. Now I think our bigger mistake here for black, for Jeroen, is trading early. Look at that. You know, there's literally almost no examples of c takes d4. I don't think you should give white access to that square. Here seems to be a mistake. And Morales actually uses it to take the knight out on d5. Notice Morales has his favorite square under control, e5. And then bishop b4 just doesn't make any sense. This is just a bad move. It develops a piece, but it doesn't do anything here. And now Morales just has space and a strong kingside initiative. Yeah, I mean, he basically wasted time. Black basically wasted time. Although with white, I don't know. Again, I would consider maybe a3. It's difficult to say what white should do. I don't like the knight coming to b4. You know, I'd like to play here. Maybe this is good, though. Queen e2, knight b4, no problem. I guess queen e2 is fine. a3, queen e2. But Morales played bishop g5. threatening the cheapo knight d6 check. I mean, it's basically a cheapo. But black can castle. If castles, bishop e7, queen e7, knight d6, bishop c6. How bad is this? You have the entombed pieces. The knight is entombed on b8 now. No way to get out. And that's a serious problem. We don't want that to happen. So maybe Jeroen's right. Okay, f6, take. I've played a lot of games like this with black. I've had some crazy games where white did stuff like knight e5. I've had crazy games where it was like knight e5. If I take, queen h5 check, and you're getting mated, right? Yeah. Yeah, knight e5, man. I swear I've had very similar games, probably even against Morales. But black can castle. What about h7, boys and girls? Are you feeling it? I'm feeling it here. Are you feeling it? Queen h5. I don't think it works, right? You have pawn takes e5. But maybe it works. Knight f6 check, knight f6, bishop takes. Heck. Rook takes f6, queen takes h7 check, king f8. God damn it, Jerry. It's only a draw. It's only a draw. Like, check here. Check. It looks like it's just perpetual. Actually, black could play for a win with king e8, but that's not a good idea. Is it? Is it? It's a perpetual anyway. Like, check. Here, 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 here. It's got to be a perpetual. Let's just see what the engine says. If knight e5. Yeah. Dude, I swear to God I've had this happen with black. You know. I've played the St. George so much in Blitz. Like, I knew this was a winning move. Literally. Without the help of the engine. I mean, dude, that's classic. But the question is after castles. Bishop h6. So bishop h6 simply threatens queen g4. It's much stronger. You don't need anything fancy here. Dude, knight d6. Look at that. Knight d6. Bishop d6. Bishop takes h7 check. No, it's just not going to happen. I've swindled Morales like this before with black. We had some game very similar. You know, so objectively, black probably can't get away with this. He has to suck it up and have the nightmare knight d6 thing. Can he survive with the knight on b8? That's the question. Really. Like, strategically. Just castle, allow white to get a knight to d6, and the engine is like, it's okay for black. How is this okay? Like, you have your knight on b8, you can't move your knight, your rook is trapped over there, and the engine's like, oh, it's only half a pawn better for white. Wow. You're wondering if castle's knight d6 immediately? Yeah, I guess Morales should try for more. It looks like it just transposes here. I mean, honestly, like, if we want to go back a little, bishop g5 is fun, and I've had a lot of games like that. But maybe Morales should just play, you know, a normal move, like a3 or something. He doesn't have to play bishop g5. And another move you could play is just like bishop d2. If I was white, I would want to, like, build up, maybe, and then, like, try to launch some kind of knight g5 or something. Interesting position. So here, 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 here. He doesn't castle, and then f5 was played, which is obviously, like, lost. So black's last chance here might be, I've done a lot of games where I ran over here. So you could actually play queen b6 and hide your king on d8. I've played enough games in this crazy opening with black to know. I literally have had this happen. It's okay, don't panic. You can just, like, put your king on d8. This doesn't look that bad. It's +2 according to the engine, but it doesn't make it easy to win. Yeah, this support point is pretty bad. So rook c1, and you're gonna just stick a knight on c5. Black's not lost tactically, but he's strategically screwed. The knight will come into c5, and you're just lost. But the problem is the king isn't safe, you know. So if you go to f7, you're getting mated. Knight e5 is, like, mate immediately. f5 is mate immediately. Yeah. This is just over. The only move that doesn't get mated immediately, knight f6 takes check here. And now he's coming out to d6. I mean, obviously it's like check and bishop f4. Looks crushing. That's what he did. Morales Note has very good control of the e5 square. For those of you that are watching the stream for the first time, this opponent I have playing white here, I have played 402 games against on my stream. And so I know his chess, I know this Morales chess very intimately. He has specialist in control of the e5 square. Here he has very strong, you know, central strong point. Now white played f3. Are you serious? f3. Stopping the mate. That's a nice try. f3 stopping the mate. Man, does white not have a checkmate here? No kind of checkmate. He just plays a practical move. And this is unhealthy at best. Now, it seems like black panicked here, but I guess d5 is as safe as anywhere. Objectively, you should probably go to c6, you know, check. You get away. Hiding on the old a7. He's gonna what? Who is the classic GM again? Or the coach? He's gonna take control of the e5 square and crush you. So no reason to prepare. I don't know that quote. That's funny. That's funny. I guess if you play someone like that, you should play like e4, d6, and just hope, you know, you can keep control of e5 with your pawn or something. Anyway, it's over. Alright, enough of this, mate. Nice game by Morales. The St. George is very hard to play. Okay, so this is another player, Big Dummy, who may or may not be here. This is a game he played against Stockfish. Stockfish level 8. Is level 8 Stockfish highest level? Or what? This was a fast game. It was rapid 7+3. No. Yeah, 7 plus 3. 420. So if you like your 420 based chess, the last game was 420. All right. You got your big dummy. Yeah, this seems to be popular nowadays. The Towers with knight f3. I mean, I like c5. I think that's a good move. Mr. Coffee. What's up, dog? That was like my #1 way of like telling if poker players sucked in like online poker. If their name was like Dog or 69. Like you absolutely knew you were playing like a total noob. Those are the two like biggest giveaways. DAWG or 69. The other one is like if they had a picture of their like hot rod or something like a car, you know you're playing with a donk. Like if you can't even be creative about your like screen name, I mean, it's kind of hopeless. Knight f3. C takes d. Knight takes d4. No. Yeah. So this is a pretty trendy line. You know, another question is, I mean, not to go into too much, you know, discussion theoretically. I thought about playing the French. We're gonna go over to Mr. Coffee's. Over to Mr. Coffee's side. I thought about playing the French because it's like the only major opening I've really never played, and with black against e4, that is. And you know, looking at this, like this position, for example, you know, like in the old days, everybody played pawn takes pawn. You know, in the classic history of Botvinnik and Smyslov and Karpov and whatever. I mean, this is by far the main line here for white. But knight f3, you know, keeps the tension. Peer pressure. I'm even playing the closed Sicilian lately with white. I don't know what's going on with me. I'm trying to get back in touch with my closed position side, but I would never play the London anymore. There are some games in the database where I played the London, but that was before, you know, it became trendy. Back in like the 90s or something. Well, the last time I played the London was when I played 1c3 against Prohashka Peter, and I had to transpose to London because I didn't know what else to play. It was the only thing I could transpose to when I opened with c3 on the first move. But anyway, black has all these different options here, and how the hell do you know what the best move is? I mean, black can play knight f6, he can play knight c6, he can play pawn takes d4, and he can play d takes e4. You know, so all these like very fundamental looking moves are possible. I mean, this gives up our strong point on d5. You know, so there's definitely an issue with that. But the other three moves, like knight f6, knight c6, and c takes d, like, what do? Like, roll a 10-sided die to figure out, like, ask your friend who plays Dungeons and Dragons to loan you, like, a multi-sided die or whatever, and, like, you can pick a move at random. Like, I don't know what black's supposed to play here, you know? I mean, which of these moves is better, and how would you possibly know? Like, if it's better to play knight f6, pawn takes pawn, or knight to c6, you know? So, that's my perspective. Like, I have no idea which one of these moves is the best for black here. C takes d is the most common. I mean, for me as a Sicilian player, this move is like really natural. I'm like taking toward the center, right? It feels like a Sicilian, so I kind of like it. So that's the game. Takes, e takes d. Transposing back. So what's the point of playing this move order if we're going to transpose back into the main line? I don't know. That's an issue, though, actually, with black's move order. So if you don't like this line, actually, c takes d, pawn takes pawn, if you don't like this variation, I don't know about ed. It doesn't feel right. If you don't like queen takes d5, then you can't play this way. Interesting. So that's probably a top reason right there. You know, you might want to play knight f6 if you want to respond with e takes d, e takes d. Or you might want to play knight c6 if you want to play e takes d, e takes d. Now we understand the point. After cd, well, white's playing against the computer. Okay, queen takes, bishop c4. So this is real popular, queen d7. I mean, I honestly, you know, it's just a weird move. I mean, queen d7. I think the idea is that black will later put the bishop on the fianchetto position. I guess that's an idea with it. I know it looks strange, but it's become very popular. Okay. It's obviously possible to go all the way back, but queen d6 has like long been the main line. Queen d6 castles. I'm not an authority on this at all. Knight b3, knight c6, knight b takes d4, knight takes d4. Now, if I was playing a computer, honestly, dude, like this is big dummy against Stockfish level 8. Like it doesn't take a brain surgeon to play queen takes d4. Like I would think like you definitely want to trade queens. If you're playing a computer, this is an insipid move, and it's rather lame. But seriously, you got to factor in the fact that you're playing an engine. Queen takes d4 is safer. Anyways, knight takes d4 is main line. Now, bishop d7 is a move. Black plays a6. White plays rook e1. Now here, I don't know. You got to be like Michael Adams. c3 is a move guarding the knight, so you can move your queen. It looks like rook e1 is main line. He plays rook e1. Now black plays bishop d7, c3. This is, oh, speaking of Michael Adams, there's a game from '07. So what's the deal here? I mean, is queen c7 better than bishop d7? Wow. So the engine says bishop e7, then changes its mind. It's even toying with the insane queen c5. I'm telling you, my tablet computer is like out of its mind. So here, bishop g5. I don't know this. So Adams played Nispianu. Bishop e7 is main line. Not according to the opening explorer, but you could transpose to something. So, like, it looks like almost everyone castled queenside now. Kosic, Kosic, Kosic. When I was playing here a lot. Rook e3. Nothing bad could possibly happen to Black's king there. Whitman, who knows a lot of theory, played it against my friend Dragon. In '07. You play this with Black? So rook c8 is like a novelty. And White literally played knight f5. What? And you're sacking a piece. Take, check, here. Take, king takes. Bishop takes f6, and you get the piece back. Wow. So if bishop takes f6, rook takes d7, this is hanging, but white's threatening the e6 pawn. So the computer is actually like playing safer by taking with the king. So it's probably kind of fighting for a draw now. Black's obviously down a pawn, but it's hard to beat a computer with ops-colored bishops, even with a pawn up. If you trade rooks, it's definitely a draw. So the problem is Black's threatening rook d2 and bishop c5. This is a draw after rook takes. I mean, you play it, you try to play it against a human, you definitely have some practical chance of winning, but one pawn ain't gonna win against a strong player or a computer. It just locks it down on the dark squares. And then objectively, I guess white should try like g5, but it's not enough. It's just a draw. Fortress. So interesting. Yeah, nice move. Knight f5. Classic idea though. To be honest. Like, this is a very common theme. Stockfish level 8. Allowing knight f5. But it all hinges on this. Take, here, takes, and then takes. And then you get the piece back. Maybe like a brilliant way to draw for black. It's funny that it played h6. Why not just rook d8 directly? You know? I would think like black would just play rook d8 directly. It's a better idea. h6 is kind of a waste of time. I mean, yeah, you want to move the pawn if necessary later to h6, but I wouldn't mess around with that. Knight f5 is classic. Okay, so we got Mr. Bites up sixth place. Otherwise known as Spectacular Camel or Dirty Tricks. What's your name? Cheap Tactics. Is he here with us still? He might have fallen asleep. Spectacular Tactics. This is Mr. Bites playing black. Played on the evil chess site. e4, knight c6, knight f3. And now it's okay to play g6 here. You know, whereas in like this position, I think g6 is problematic. Because in this position, d5 followed by like queen d4 seems to be a problem. But knight f3, you know, a lot of people play, they're like hoping that you transpose to the... They're hoping that you transpose to the Royal Paz. I think Miles played this against me when I was white, and I played... We had a funny game. I was white, I played e4, Miles played knight c6, and then I played bishop b5. And this was back like on World Chess Network in 2000 something, and we were doing like a banter game, and he played e5, and I just transposed to the Roy de Paz, and then he played the Berlin defense, which he did a lot. But in those days, I don't think there was any games with this position. Subsequently, I had a game with John Curto, who celebrated his 90th birthday recently, or something like that, and he played knight f6 against me. That's actually, I think, a better move, maybe not. But this is more aggressive. Anyways, knight f3, g6, a3. Okay, good luck. a3. Precisely against the move g6 seems rather stupid. Like e4, c5, a3, g6 with the idea of bishop g7 is a good way for black to play against the a3 Sicilian. But here you're actually like late. Like, I already played g6 and now you're playing a3, so you're like forcing me to make a good move. Bishop g7, and now bishop c4. Unfortunately, it's not a Sicilian. Black hasn't played c5, but same difference. e6, d3, and now obviously d5 is fine. I had a game like this the other day on Tuesday's tournament where I lost against Great Lazarus. I had a very strong position after d5. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. I mean, white literally, you know, has no advantage. He would probably play bishop h2, bishop a2. I had an opponent who played this, but white hadn't played a3, so. But it's not necessary to play d5. This is fine. Wait a minute. Okay, objectively d5 is your only good plan. But Yabatis wants to be, he wants to be difficult, so he plays this, rope-a-dope, move d6. You know, it's fine, but, you know, what are we doing here objectively? Like, if you're not going to play d5, what are you going to do? You know, you're going to play like a6, rook b8, b5 or something? Here. Yep, answer my question. a6, queen c1. Yeah, maybe we should think about dealing with this. It's risky to play h6 though. But maybe you could do like a Pavel Blatny, you know, craziness, like the hippo. It's a half hippo. Not a full hippo, but half hippo. g5. Yeah, it's too dangerous. This isn't good. This isn't good. We're gonna get hammered here. You'd have to play king h7. You can do this though. This is reasonable for black. Yeah, it's a half hippo. Half your position is a hippo, the other side is, I don't know what it is. Okay. So queen c1, d5. Now you changed your mind. You're like, no, I want to play d5. White should not play pawn takes pawn without a good reason, would be my advice. Like, I don't see how this move really benefits white other than the e-file. You know, maybe you can use the e-file. Take, bishop a2. You can't play h6 here. You could play bishop g4 though. Like, seriously, where is he going after bishop g4? That looks like a problem for white. That the knight doesn't have a good square. White should have played h3 at some point to stop this. Yeah, black's just better. You missed it. This is a mistake. Now he plays knight g5. It's not the end of the world, though. You know, you can give him this bishop. Okay. I would just do, like, queen d7 or something. Whatever. Help yourself, you know. I could take with the pawn. And then we have monstrous control of the d4 square. And the white bishop is shut down on that diagonal. It's actually not that bad. I guess bishop f5 is okay. And now he goes bishop g4. That's awesome. That is awesome. Here, knight d4. Oh. The Bodler. This is the refutation of the Bodler. h3, and now he doesn't want to take, he's against winning material. Take, bishop takes h3. That would be too easy. So, Yabatis, our helper here with the Thursday night stream, usually. He's probably sleeping. Bishop takes f3 instead, keeping the powerful knight. Yeah, it's a little similar to Carlsen the Pomniachi, but the queens are on the board. That's not pretty. Knight e2. Another knight. Oh, nice. That's nice. Knight h4. Plus, this is incidentally hanging. Yeah, I mean, I know you don't like taking material, but I think you should. Not because it wins a pawn, but it destroys white's whole position. You know, rook b1, bishop takes a3, and back here. White's down 2 pawns with no compensation. I mean, at the very minimum. Nice structure. Pawn, 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 pawn. All isolated. Yeah, that's really, really good for black. Beautiful structure. And now you're just sitting there with a knight d4. Oh. Beautiful knights. That hurts. So sacking the queen was probably necessary. And it's mate. Alright, good game from you, Bottas. Now we've got games 7 through 10. Ripun, Sumaher, Move 11, and Chess Kudo. Alright, I'm going to take a brief moment to refresh my mind. Moving on to game 7. Refresh my mind. Get a glass of water. Okay, this is Ripun, one of our keenest challengers, playing 25-minute. Time control. Rated classical game. The opponent is 2197 and white is 1750, but he has a tendency to play too fast. Taimanov. Now, like, what is that? Like, that's not even a move. Bishop c4. If you take away the c2 pawn, it looks like a Mora gambit. This is just not a move. Very bad. This is also totally random. Bishop g5, bishop c4, apples and oranges. These moves do not have any connection to each other. White just making really weird random moves. Now black's threatening, I guess, knight takes e4. Wow. Man, I mean, you have to have this now. Black has to have knight takes e4. Knight takes e4, bishop takes e7, knight takes c3, bishop takes d8, knight takes d1, knight takes c6. B takes c6. Bishop somewhere. Knight takes b2, and then the knight is trapped. White is playing crazy moves. I mean, f3, bishop c4, bishop h4. Knight to c4 works. What did I miss here? Oh my god. Wow. There's a crazy in-between move, knight e3. I've never seen anything this complicated in one of these knight e4 tactics, but white literally has 3 pieces hanging simultaneously, plus the c2 fork. You cannot play these loose moves like bishop c4, bishop g5 without black having some kind of tactic here. This is principled though, you know, the way that black played. I mean, I don't mind it. You know, d5, h6 and d5 is solid. So white just gave up everything, you know, the center. Now the tactic is still there. No, knight e4, bishop e7, a much simpler version. But here we're really trapped. No, we're not. No, we're not. That's the point. That's the point. Knight d1. You cannot protect b2. So we're not trapped here, 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 here. And if you take on g7, we're coming down. So like take. At best, white is equal. Bishop takes g7, rook g8. Bishop takes h6, rook takes g2. White has equal at best. Crazy. So instead his opponent plays d4. I wouldn't play that move. I mean, I don't know. Black looks too solid. I don't like this push. This bishop can get trapped, but not really. Why so passive? Why not play bishop c4? You want to hold up these squares, I think. He's afraid of maybe knight here hitting his bishop. I don't know. I don't think he should allow a4 either. I think white should just shut it down. White should play a4 himself. It seems better. White reacted too passively. I guess this is okay though. Just like gives up his bishop for the knight. Black should try to put pressure on b2. That's a weak point. And another reasonable plan here would be to trade the darks for bishops somehow. You have like knight h5, if bishop e7, queen e7, here, castles, I guess. This is dangerous. White's played this game very sloppy, but maybe he ends up with a better pawn structure. But I don't really like this, taking that. Wow, b4. So you can't play rook b1 because the bishop takes a3. You could just play b3 though. b4 is okay. So position is just sort of magically transformed into strategic closed position where white has an outside protected pass pawn. And magically, isn't there bishop takes f6? You know, that other line? I was looking at what? For example, how did we say? If rook b1 here. Yeah, I mean, it's unclear. Although white doesn't actually have a threat just here. You know. I mean, I guess he's starting bishop to c6, which would be a draw. It's actually winning for black. We win a piece. I need the engine to show me that. Alright. Yeah, I mean, white's play is very, very sloppy. He should get his king out of the center. I also think queen c1 is weird, but he was eyeing that. You know, I hadn't really looked at it that way. Queen c1 was based on tactics. I mean, I really don't want to let this knight come into f4, but I guess it may not be that bad. We have bishop f1. It's a very strange game. Wow. So that's what I'm saying. I wish that knight hadn't been allowed in there. Black should definitely blockade now. Yeah, rook a7. He's got a blockade. Wow, he just blundered his e-pawn. He drops his queen. It was a very sloppy game. The a-pawn's still going. So black's gonna get mated. Entertainment value only. The accuracy level has diminished somewhat. Computer move. Could have taken this. The quality of play here, somewhat shady. And he got mated with 1 second left. Wait, there's 8 minutes to 1 second and got mated. Well, probably taking the enemy queen would be better, like rook takes. Rook takes f2 would be a little bit superior. It's not stalemate, obviously. Alright. Serious sandbagging going on there. That was pretty bizarre. Interesting game to submit to the stream. Alright, Sumaher, this is serious now. Sumaher playing white against lichess. Let me guess, queen c2. It's a Nimzo. Okay, c5 is an important major variation. White takes on c5. Now, best I guess is castles. Also, bishop takes c5 is possible. Knight a6. What's this? This is apparently a move. I don't know what the deal is. It's queen c7. Just noticing this. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. Alright, knight c6, knight f3, bishop takes, bishop g5, castles. So I thought knight d4 is an old variation. But this is regarded as like losing time. So not really reliable. Now instead of d5, I thought b6 should be our main move here for black. I mean, for that matter, you could play h6, bishop h4, bishop e7. I remember losing to Peter Kiryakov in some kind of variation like this once. But let's check the move order. I don't really like knight c6. This is not a great line for black. Not the best. So you're supposed to play h6 immediately, bishop h4, queen a5, that's a real thing. It looks like a queen's gambit. Yeah, I don't like this. Bishop e7. Rook d1. Castle. Remember I had a game with Sarkar that was something like this. Like knight h5. Try to trade the dark square bishop off. This variation isn't easy for black. Knight f3, bishop takes c5, bishop g5, castle e3. So here, this is even more aggressive, if you want to. You might play e4 in some positions, but you've got to watch the dark square f2. Okay, so d5 basically transposes to some kind of queen's gambit, like, but I mean normally white would have bishop on f4, not bishop on g5 in one of those lines. That's weird. He's actually sacking a pawn here. So cd5, ed5, bishop takes f6, queen f6, knight takes d5. Bishop e4 check with compensation. That's very dangerous. So you should play rook d1. He did play rook d1. Keeping pressure. This has to be a blunder, right? So if you take, he has to take. I mean, white could just play rook takes d5. This is totally unsound. I'm crazy. No, he has knight b4. Never mind. Knight takes d5, bishop e4 check. But this is not as good as the other version, but it's interesting. If knight d2, knight d4, you can't. Your queen's hanging with check. What is black going to do here? Wow, look at this. It's like some kind of insane variation. Queen e5, knight f6, g takes f, bishop f4. But it's unsound for black. I see. So he has knight b4 right away. It's not that bad. And that's why we would typically play a3 in these kind of queen's gambits. And that's why Suhair played a3 now. So he's basically threatening now to kill black. And black plays d4 just what? Black just lost to central pawn. This is crazy. This is totally lost in one move. You can't lose your central pawn. You're done. Put a fork in him. He tries e5. But here you have knight d5. Among other things, knight d5 looks very killing. Probably the best move. Instead you took. It's not as good. Black is merely a pawn down here, not getting completely destroyed. Rook e1, rook d8. Now knight d5. Still good, but not as good. And then can he play a different move now? Bishop takes d5. The rook's just hanging. And if bishop takes f3, bishop takes b6. So it looks all good. Knight d5 is strong here. Obviously he played knight takes as well. I mean, knight takes f6 is devastating. Black is lost. Is there some sort of mating attack? Queen h7, queen h6, king e7. Whoo, baby, let's check it out. Come on. Check here. Oof. Whoa. Queen takes. King e7. And now rook takes, e6 check. This isn't gonna work. Damn. It's so close. He's getting away, though. Wait a minute. This hangs a queen. Check. It just doesn't work. Oh man. Alright. There's no way to like brutalize him. Dude, that's a nice move. And you have bishop covering here. Bishop covering h5, bishop covering d1. So it's a pretty tactic. And then he just gives up the queen. Excuse me? He didn't see that his bishop was attacking it, so he just like didn't take it. Oh, he did. He did. He's just a tricky guy. Okay, here, here, here. It's winning. A technical win. Nice king centralization. Knight g7's a cute move as well. What a move. Bishop h5. There's no mate though. We need g3 and h4. This was a blitz game. Nice game. But black's play, you know, with the giving you the d4 pawn was really bad. Okay, last two games, Move 11 and Chess Kudo. Our next stream will be Sunday. Guys, don't forget to donate and subscribe to the stream. We'll be back on Sunday. We're looking over Move 11 and Chess Kudo games now. The Intimidator versus Move 11. Oh, this is the correspondence game where his opponent got called out for cheating. White was flagged for correspondence cheating because he was analyzing in an analysis board. Okay, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4, a3. Gotta take. It's funny, 1,278 games, no one's ever like retreated their bishop back to f8 or something, just to be funny. Bishop takes c3 here. I like c5 the best. The other good move for black is b6. So this is correspondence. Now knight f3. Okay, so this is a rare move that Karsha Laszlo played against me. But I noticed there's a bunch of games by like Stochek in the opening explorer, I think. Check. Yeah, there he is. So there's Stochek. He got loses cheat detected, not a ban. I guess it was just a case of having the window open. I don't know. Ask Move 11. I'm not sure if he's still here. But after knight f3, I played this against Karsha because I didn't know what I was doing. But I'm not actually sure that we should play knight c6 like we did in the normal. Like the normal variation is usually like e3, or they play f3 and they go into an f3 Nimzo. But I don't know about this. You know, this is the thing I don't really know. Knight on f3. I don't remember what I played against Karsha. I got equal position but nothing special, and I drew in like 15 moves or 20 moves. I don't remember. I didn't like my position that much. I guess d6 is viable. You know, see sometimes people play like Queen a5. That looks very artificial. I mean, knight c6 isn't a bad move. I just wasn't sure if it's best. You know, maybe we should play castle. If we castle first, e3, then we can transpose back to the normal lines where the knight is like misplaced on f3. Because he's supposed to play like bishop d3, knight e2. I don't know. So he played b6 right away. There's like no games here. My concern is white playing e4 or d5 or something. That's not good. I mean, I guess you could play d5 for white. It looks pretty weird. Bishop f4 with the idea of sticking the bishop here is not a big deal because we have like knight e4 later. There's some random game from 1992 where Balashov played black. He's a great player. Yeah, what's the deal with knight c6? So Stochek plays this. No, what did he do? He did e3. What did he do? Oh, this is just one random game. He beat Gustafsson with queen d3. This is probably in the Bundesliga or something. He just randomly tried to do like a normal Hübner type of setup. Queen d3, bishop g5, e5, rook d1. That's a really weird position. So anyway, b6 is relatively new. Bishop g5. I'm not sure about bishop g5. Now you played knight c6. He keeps the bishop. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Black's playing like it's a normal line, like a normal variation where we're going to attack c4. It looks like a queen's gambit now, almost. White's playing a queen's gambit type of piece formation. And after bishop a6, you're expecting like e4. You can meet it with e5. But white should play like knight d2 maybe. Does white have knight d2 and f4 style stuff? So this would concern me. Is castles? What? What move 11? Castles question mark? The engine wants you not to castle here. Well, I'm honestly not in a hurry to castle here. There's no reason why you have to castle here, but I didn't think it was that bad. Yeah, I mean, g5 is a possibility. You're going to go here. This, you can play this. It seems pretty weird. It's a weird setup for you. But I mean, it's usually possible to do this. What do you do here? You just take his bishop. I mean, you have kind of a weird bishop g5, you know, 3 knights variation or whatever they call it. But I guess it's okay, you know. You could potentially castle queenside. Nils is back. Yeah, I don't know, move 11. I mean, it's hard to decide what to do here. Honestly. You're drinking. I'll drink too. I'll drink to that. E3, it's a little early. No, it's Thursday. E3, H6, Bishop H4, Castle. Yeah, move 11. I mean, I agree. Like, maybe you shouldn't castle, but I don't think it's that bad. Here. I mean, you're going to blockade. What does the computer want to do? Like, try to wail on you with G4? There's something crazy he can do? I quit drinking for good. This is my favorite meme. Now I drink for evil. I have a I have a coaster that says that. G4. What about G4? Spicy. I guess we have E5 there. I'm not sure this is objectively sound, but maybe. Let's see. Yeah, it likes, the engine likes it. Mikey likes it. Yeah, I mean, this is what Yevgeny Bareyev would play. So move 11, it's risky to castle there, but it's playable. Yeah, very, very risky. I think I wouldn't play knight c6 though. I'm trying to remember what I did, man. I think I did play knight c6, but I regretted it. Here. Later, there's a game like Botvinnik had, I think, from this position, and you should look in my 60, or what's it called, 100 selected games. I'm on Bobby Fischer. Isn't there a Botvinnik game in this exact move order? What does Botvinnik do? Oh, he was white. Oh, sorry. He was white against somebody. He played this against somebody in 100 selected games. I think Alatortsev or one of these random Russian masters. Botvinnik versus somebody. So did they had like d6? You could do d6. It's funny that no one's played d6 here. What's wrong with that move? Is there some sort of problem with like bishop f4? I don't understand the problem with d6. I mean, it seems like a very normal Nimzo move. So anyway, he played b6. Yeah, but I mean, the main idea, Nils, is to like attack the c-pawn with, you know, in these samishes, to like, you bring all your pieces to go get the c-pawn. You're just pretending you're going to play bishop b7. I mean, sometimes you have to actually play bishop b7 if you're in danger of like losing control of the center. But we'd like to go after that c-pawn. Stupid pet tricks. So e3, here, 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 here. So, you know, you're waiting for white to play like e4 and you're going to play e5 and you have a good blockade, right? But, you know, a master here with white probably wouldn't castle. I mean, maybe he would play even like knight d2. But whatever. Okay, he castled. You went there, which I'm not sure is a good move. Maybe you should just stay sort of central with the blockade. But I'm saying if you play e5, does white have knight d2 here? Yeah, I mean, like, you know, if you're very materialistic, you could go for this pawn. Like, pawn takes pawn. Damn, look at this position. Knight e4 plus 2. That is crazed. Knight e4 plus 2 for white. Very dangerous. But I mean, it takes a strong player to understand this. You know, knight d2. Most people would like close the structure first. Actually, that's a problem already, because we can't really play knight e7. Can we? Maybe we can. We'll do knight e7, let you do this. Let your knight out there, and then just say some sort of prayers or something. We might be getting mated. Other than that, everything's fine. This actually looks very problematic. I mean, it's like that, and then black just gets mated. And there's no way to stop like queen h5. This looks like a serious problem. Actually, I thought we might be alright, but how are we going to deal with this? It's just like f4, rook f3, rook g3. You know, it's over. It looks like winning. Plus 1.5. That's not good. So it's not so easy. Yeah, you put yourself in that situation. I don't normally do that either. I don't castle kingside when I'm playing like a Hubner type of position. necessarily till I'm sure the center is going to be like fixed. Alright, so castle here, 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 and then this very stupid move queen a4. I mean, this is a terribly placed piece, of course, for white. But it may be tactically strong. So knight a5 just loses your central pawn. You had to play this, but this is very badly placed. Now bishop e4. Dude, that move is kind of suspicious. You know? He was cheat detected. Let's turn on the engine. Yeah, but I mean, bishop e4 is not #1 move. Is that tactically sound? It is, apparently. I mean, I don't know that your opponent was cheating. We're just always paranoid. I don't really like queen a4. This is a funny move, though. Yeah, I don't like the queen here. Now he takes. Yeah, he's basically playing like Botvinnik. Though you can take on c5 and it's straight out of 100 selected games. I mean, the control of d5, this. The control of the d5 square is more important than the fact that white has like isolated double pawns. That's that beautiful game that he won in whoever it was with, you know, sticking the bishop on d5 for the rest of your life. Forget about the isolated pawns being nothing here. You know, it's just control of the central square. Yeah, I mean, one of the most famous games Botvinnik played. It's in like every Russian like chess, you know, strategy book, and American ones too, or English ones too. Knight h4, knight e7, take here. Yeah, I don't know that white played perfectly. So e4, wow. Yeah, unfortunately you can't play rook g8, and knight g6 loses to knight f5. Things don't look real good here. Okay, Botvinnik check over. Are you lost here? Looks like you're lost. Is knight f5 engine? No. What is it, like the 4th best move? Probably. Yeah, I think your opponent was just like playing the 4th best moves. Check, king g7. How about queen d7? You know, honestly, I didn't like the queen where it was on c7. If you want to go back even further, technically, you lost control of the center, but this wasn't obvious to me. Hey, what's up, Zen Chess? So you can't play knight a5 because you just like dropped the e5 pawn? You know what, but I mean, maybe there are some situations where his pawns are so bad you could like get away with this. For example, just bear with me for a second. Like g5 here, you know, g5, bishop g3, knight e4. Maybe it's some scenario where you're down a pawn, but you get rid of that annoying dark square bishop. And here the pawns could cost him. You know, like maybe somehow you survive even though you're down a clear pawn. Knight e5 is best, you have queen e8. Knight e5 is best, you have queen e8. Bishop takes. Queen e8 is great. Gives me chocolate cake. So take. The happy pawn structure. But it's very possible that the c pawn is such a problem that white isn't winning, you know? This is like reminding me of Carlsen the Palmiachi a little bit in that other game. Do you suspect your opponent was using assistance, or he just got cheat detected because he randomly had a board open? I thought white played a pretty Bofinikian game here. But this was correspondence. But it feels like your pieces drifted a little passive. Man, look at the way he popped back to d1 and over to the other side. Look at that motion. Queen d1, queen h5. That is so efficient. It's really impressive. Impressive queen mobility. Is king h7 a blunder? Zenchess, you were suggesting queen e7 at some point instead of e4. Right, right. A sensible move. The problem, we're like frozen to this stupid pawn here, but another question would be why king h7? You know? Of course white has queen g4. You could play something different here. I'm not sure about king h7 either. But it doesn't look like black's problems are disappearing no matter what we play. To be perfectly honest. I mean, eventually he's gonna squeeze us off of d7 with like rook d1 and queen e6, d5 or something. But let's see Zenchess's suggestion here. I mean, I would assume something along the lines of like rook d1. You can never play rook g8 because you get hammered with queen takes f7 check. So you're like, okay, what do I do now? I'm having fun. How about you? I don't know what to do here. It's really bad. It's really bad. I mean, it's probably lost for black. And he just like knight takes f5, and you won a very nice game here. King g7 cheat detected. But it's nice that you're not down any material, by the way. You know, he voluntarily played knight f5. That was kind of weird. So he's definitely not playing the best moves. I mean, black almost has a small chance of surviving. But frankly, your structure's so bad, I really doubt it. He can play rook d1, f3. If it was engine, it would have won a lot more. Well, I mean, I'm saying he's like playing the fourth best move. Nobody's dumb enough to like play the best moves anymore. But yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably he's just analyzing, you know, on an analysis board. Analysis board is allowed. But what happens, I'm saying, what happens if you're playing a correspondence game? You have it up on a board, right? But then you open another window and have analysis board on that one where you're just analyzing like another game or something. Like say you have 2 or 3 windows open with lichess on all of them. You know, and you have one game over here that's your correspondence game, and you have another game over there where you're just analyzing your last blitz game. Is that like cheat detected? So I'm saying, what if you turn the engine on in the blitz game that you just played, while the correspondence game is on in the other window? Like, do you have to activate the engine in the exact window where you're analyzing the correspondence game, or just having any window? It checks if you have the exact position open with an engine. Okay, I didn't know exactly what the deal is. All right. Anyway, move 11. The answer is no one knows for sure. Chess Kudo is playing here with white against cold water with b3. Thanks, move 11. Thank you for the gift sub earlier today. Guys, our last stream for this week until Sunday. Our second to last stream this week. No Friday stream. I have to do something in the morning, so we're missing our usual Friday stream. b3, e5, bishop b2, d6. Don't forget to donate gift subs and bits and cheer some bits. What is that, Mr. Coffee? Charlene Hype. We've got d6 on the board. That's kind of an unusual move. It seems like knight c6 is much more popular. But there's nothing wrong with d6, right? It's just like King's Indian. So now you transfer to an English. Bishop f5. Say what? Wow. That's a pretty random move. I mean, I know like the London is popular, but that is not the London. So wow, totally rando bishop move. Alright, what do we do about that? Bishop on f5 seems pretty weird. I mean, he's obviously obstructing his f pawn, which is a relatively important thing. So you just play knight c3. I mean, I don't know. You know, knight f3 is fine too. I like the double fianchetto. You're just playing in English with bishop b2 early. g3 is probably good. And now black goes psycho. He's playing like basically Moksudlu. Why not h5 on move 1, you know? No, it's only after g3. Alright, so this is a very important position. You don't have to automatically do h4 in this sort of situation. You know, I really don't like to do it. But I also don't like to just ignore it either. You know, so I think h3 is a solid option. That's what Yasser would do. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I call this the Yasser approach. You just like slow it down and you're ready to absorb it if it comes to h4. You play it like a good grob. I mean, you have a very good grob here, where you're not going to get hit by knight g6, knight h4. It's like a very, very good grob. If this was the grob every game, I would play it every time. That's the way I would handle it in a kind of normal English. Isn't bishop g6 f5? Maybe. But I mean, I can't believe black can get away with this crap, man. I mean, seriously? Yeah, he can play it. I mean, honestly, I'm skeptical of this. But let's say e3. You've got to watch out for knight b4. But if knight b4, you just play like d3. There's nothing there. So he tries f5, and he's like trying to do this caveman thing, or h4. I know that. I've seen that. You know, people, they do h5 and then h4 and then f5. And then maybe bishop e7. It's psycho caveman chess. I mean, I think that black is not really fully sound either, you know. But this does get kind of unclear. Computer says you're a lot better. Knight f3. You know, it's counterintuitive because you were going to put the knight on e2. Now we have to like change to stop that knight h4. Stop the h4. And then here, like, the computer wants to play h4. So it's going to like totally change the approach based on what black does. Here, for example, the computer says knight f6, which I don't think anybody would have expected. It's tricky. Wow, best move for black is g5. Speaking of Moksudlu. This is total caveman stuff. Alright. No, h4 is fine. But again, I don't think it's forced. g6. Bishop g2. Knight e7. e3. Watch these squares. You've got a problem here, no? Knight b4? It's a 3-0 blitz game, alright. No, but you whatever, but you can't let him in there. Your move order was bad. You can't play e3 here. You got a problem with knight b4. No, you got a serious problem here. Like, you're screwed on knight b4. Maybe you don't have to do a3 though. I like d3. You got a totally normal English. Just do d3 and you can play like queen e2. But a3, maybe. Maybe a3 is fine. Alright, e3, bishop g7, a3, castles, knight e2. So you got a normal position now. And, yeah, this looks pretty normal. He just put his bishop on f5 here. What? He put his bishop back on c8. Totally random. If anything, bishop d7, right? Like, then he can take on d5. Why would you put your bishop on c8? Bishop d7, queen c8 or something. Bishop d7. He doesn't want to go to e6 because of knight d5. Like, I understand that. But here, bishop c8. Castles. f5. Alright. You could try for d4 now, maybe. That's what you did. Proactive. I don't know if black can go f4 on you, but it's a try. No, maybe he should go for this. You know, because I don't know what to do after f4. Because he's threatening f3. If you take here, maybe you're fine, but I want to check it. Like, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. Can you just surround that? He has a tactic with this damn d3 move. This looks problematic. But you've got him. Wow, knight e4, d3, knight c3. And the engine says you're just winning. Alright, we're just up a pawn. Okay. So it doesn't work. e4, d5. You let him into e5. It would be better to play like b4, b5 if you could get it. So let's go. Here. Unfortunately, he did get his knight to a decent square. Now he just goes berserk. Like, this is insane. You can't play g5. I expected you to just take here. But you took on h5 instead. Because that's kind of important, right? Here. Yeah, I mean, he can't live without his dark square bishop. Maybe he should try just to go crazy now. Like g takes h4. This is not going to happen. King g7 with that diagonal. And then h5. Here. Yeah, man. Now you're threatening knight f4. Among other things. King h6. So you just took. And a little scary. It's a 3-0 game. It's a little scary, this thing. You know, that big formation. And your queen side is not that fast. His king. Wow, you bugged out with king h2. I mean king f2. Maybe you should wait until he takes the pawn. You're like talking him out of it. Alright, rook f6 here. At that point, maybe you can just go back to where you came from. You got the rook over. This is huge. So queen c3 is nice. If you win that pawn, it's game over, I think. The e5 pawn is just too important. It's not like literally game over, but really important pawn. He should try now to get something going on the e file. It's a nice try. Your king is still live in the middle of the board. I mean, this looks a little sketchy. I would play like rook f2 probably. Favorite tactic is coming soon. The in-between move. d6, bishop takes e2, pawn takes knight. Now I would expect him to play rook e8. Yes? But instead he plays rook c8. Wow. So you just have bishop f5. I mean bishop e4 threatening f5. That's nice. So what about some kind of crazy move for him here? Can he do like queen takes b3? Your king is entirely safe for the moment. You know, even if he does like that, like he has no threat. He has literally no threat. You're just going to f2. He has no move. I mean, he has to take it, and then bishop e4. So he's frozen. Frozen solid. Like, yeah, that's nice. This rook is frozen to that, and then he's frozen there. And you just win everything. It doesn't matter. I mean, obviously you could, like, take his bishop, too. There's no reason not to take his bishop, right? There's no harm in taking that bishop. This is more aesthetic, though. Like, he doesn't have a check, no matter what. And then you took with the queen. That was mean. That was mean. But it forces the queens off. Because if you take with the bishop, he could go to like h6 or something. Not that he has a chance to survive, but yeah. Oops. Alright, man. Yeah, interesting game. For me, you know, the debate about how to handle h5 is interesting. Here. You're committed to b3, you know, pretty early. So this is a special kind of English. You don't have all your options available. The bishop's not like on this diagonal. I'm not really used to playing that so much. It's a hybrid between the English and the Larson or Nimzovich. Thank you guys for joining me. We're going to be back Sunday with a simul here on lichess and Twitch. I'm out. No stream tomorrow. We're taking Friday off. We're going to be back Friday. Don't forget to donate some bits to the stream if possible, so I don't feel stupid. Thanks for the gift subs, guys. Acerbate Move 11. And yeah, it was fun going over some games. So Sunday is our simul stream with 25 games against the viewers. I will see you all then. Enjoy the draw championship in the meantime. Thanks everybody. Bye bye.